Hello and welcome to this video, where I'm going to be showing you how to configure Director to your liking. When you've loaded up Director, open the configuration window. You can do this by pressing the configure button on the right hand side of your screen. When the configuration window opens, you'll be greeted with the General tab. This allows us to set the name of the station and the logo if necessary. I'll rename my station to Mix Time and set my logo. The global parameters allows us to enable auto start and auto cue. Auto start means that the audio will start playing as soon as the software launches, and auto cue means that we can scroll up and down the playlist window using the up and down arrow keys. We can enable real-time error checking, which means that if a track is missing from a playlist, it's marked with a red background. We can also choose to enable or disable the splash screen when the software is loading, as well as the duration and on-air time calculation. We can also choose to save the configuration on configuration window exit and not only the program's exit. The track defaults tab allows us to set a default mix point. This is the point from the end of the current track that the next track will start playing. We can also set an absolute maximum length. This is the maximum length that a track without an assigned mix point can exceed. At the bottom, we can set the default fade type, again if the track doesn't have its own fade type set. We can choose between slow, normal, fast, cut and do not fade. On the right hand side, we can enable silence detection. This means that when a track starts to go quiet, the software will presume it's reached the end and start playing the next track. The track info window allows us to set a display delay. This is the delay in which the information associated with the current track is shown in the track info display area when automation is running, and the browse delay, which is the delay time before the information associated with the current track is shown in the track info display area when the arrow keys or mouse are used to select a different track. The track info path is the path which a program will search for the previously created directed track info. You can also choose between big and small font size at the bottom. The logging tab allows us to enable logging within the software. This means that all tracks played along with date and time will be saved to a file. You can browse to that file by pressing the browse button. We can also enable an on-air track file. This file contains the name of the current track that's playing and can be used to update your website. You can also set at the bottom what text will be displayed when a commercial break is being played. The rotation tab has been covered in a previous video. The panic tab allows us to set up the panic button. We can choose how many files will be inserted and where those files will come from. The sweepers/voice tracks tab allows us to toggle between sweeper and voice track mode using this box here. If immediate sweeper start and overtaking is enabled, sweepers will start at the beginning of the associated track if the difference between the intro point and the sweeper length is greater than the time defined here. If the immediate start is unchecked, the intro time of the associated track is less than the selected sweeper duration. Track start will be delayed in order to catch the intro point. As well as this, we can define the sweeper paths and the level which the audio will be ducked to when a sweeper or voice track is being played. The time announcements tab allows us to configure time announcements by setting the path, the file format they are in, as well as giving us some information about how they should be formatted. The view tab allows us to set what the main playlist or rotation view looks like, and at the bottom we can change the font size. Make sure you restart the software for these changes to take place. The audio cards tab allows us to toggle between single and multiple outputs. If you go to multiple, you can set a different output per player and for time announcements and sweepers. In the middle, we can set an output for instant players as well as the PFL player, and toggle between direct sound and ASIO drivers. The compressor tab allows us to enable global compressing as well as the equalizer tab, which allows us to enable global equalization of the audio out of Director. The password tab allows us to set a password which will protect the director configuration and will require the password to be entered before you can configure the software. The remote control tab allows us to set up remote control using the Deremote software, which is packaged with the Director Broadcast Suite. The automation behavior tab allows us to select returning to rotation mode after the last track of a playlist is played, otherwise the playlist will repeat itself. The load closest rotation by startup time proximity is startup option will automatically load the best rotation determined by the current events that are set up. The events behavior box allows us to set whether events are active when automation is stopped and whether to play events first before commercials or after. The VST effects tab allows us to enable our own custom VST plugin, for example a compressor, as well as selecting a test track to test it with. And finally, the stream slot tab allows us to set up a streaming server which to stream from. By pressing the edit stream slots, you can set the URL, the name, genre and URL, as well as a comment, the retry, how many times the software will try to reconnect to the stream if it fails, and the duration. You have 10 slots in total. This finishes the Director overview configuration video. In the next video, I'll be showing you how to set up sequences and cue points. Thank you.